Airbnb is hard, especially if you're just getting started now or if you're opening up in a place with high competition. This is by no means a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not even get-rich-easy.
Then what is it?
It's for sure the hardest, most labor-intensive form of property investing or real estate investing. And I would say, and I do say, it isn't even property investing. This is not property, this is hospitality. But there are ways to lighten the load, to make this business easier and more fun, to get you more time and more money. And so in this video, I'm going to give you, I think it's 6 trains of thought, pillars, north stars, guiding lights to run your business by that's going to make it more fun, more freedom, and more flexibility. So the first lesson, the first guiding principle that I want to impart to you is don't be a cheapskate. Now this has to follow you through every decision you make in this entire business, because this is not about cutting costs and saving pennies where we can. It does not work. So let me give you some examples. First off, when you're getting the property, don't go for the cheapest one you can find. I get that your budget might be tight, get that you might be struggling to find somewhere in a good area, but don't go for the cheap and nasty property. It's cheap for a reason. If it's in an undesirable area or it's in really bad condition and you're not willing to either spend the money to do it up, or you don't know how to do it up and you think it's fine, leave it. Do not do that. This will come crashing down on you. Your property is your product. It's what guests are paying to come and experience. It needs to be banging. Now, don't get me wrong. You can do a very small property. You can do a 1 bed. You can do a studio, but don't scrimp on it. Make sure it's not the cheapest type of that property that you can find. Also remember, guests don't just experience the property. They go out into the big bad world. And if it is a big bad world around your property, that's going to get mentioned in reviews. Next up, when you're kitting out your property, don't go for the cheapest stuff. If you're going to buy a really cheap ass sofa, it's going to break. You're going to have to buy another one and it's going to break too. And then you're going to have to buy the good one that you should have bought in the first place. Your bed linens and your towels need to be high quality, not luxury, but just the guests, when they get into them, they feel like, and this is key, this is better than what I have at home. You never want your guests to arrive, experience your towels or your beds and just think, this is crap. My one at home is better. That also goes with your cookware in your kitchen, with your knives for cutting stuff. Well, obviously for cutting stuff. You get what I'm saying. Don't go for the cheapest stuff, because when a guest uses it, they always think, it's a subconscious, unconscious thought. They think, oh, my one at home is better than this. Another place I see people trying to save a few pennies, well, it's a few pounds, a few monies, is not paying for a professional photographer once they've spent the money, they've got the property looking smashing, they get their phone out and they just take wonky, rubbish photos on their phone. Honestly, it's a false economy. You're saving money on the photos, but you're losing money on so many bookings where people are just going to scroll on by because you are not a good photographer and your place looks like shit. Sorry. So don't go cheap on anything. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go for the most expensive. You don't need to do that either. Just don't go for the cheapest stuff. Always trying to be thinking, you want your guests to come and experience stuff and think, this is much better than the one I have at home. You want them to be asking you, where did you get this coffee machine? Like, where did you get these pillows? Where did you get this mattress? That's the mindset you need to be thinking of. Next up, and this is a harsh truth, but you have to hear it. Guests, they don't care about you. They don't give a shit about you. They don't want to be your friend. They don't want to be your pen pal. They don't want to hear from you. They're here for their trip, for whatever reason they booked it for. They're going on their wedding, their work trip, their, I don't know, whatever they booked their trip for, it's for them. Your property is just one little piece in the puzzle of their trip. You are an NPC, an unplayable character in their world that they will have to interact with a couple of times on their trip. It's the same as when they go to a restaurant and they have their waiter or waitress, or they go on a tour and it's their tour guide. You're just a person that exists in their world for a little while. So please don't be all up in their face, asking a million different questions. Just leave them to it. And don't be upset if they don't reply to your messages, if they don't read your emails, and if they speak to you like you are a concierge at the hotel, because in their head, that's what you are. They also don't care about your bills, so they don't care about leaving the heating or the AC on or charging their electric car. That's all free in their head.
Free! Free!
Now, as much as us, the hosts, care deeply about them and they are the most important people in our world at that time during their stay, it's not reciprocated.
Oh, unrequited love.
And we have to let go of that and just be okay with the fact that they don't give a shit. They also don't care about your reviews. So as much as you have crafted and begged and worked and bent over backwards to get every one of those 5-star reviews, there's plenty of guests who don't care about that. And you can ask them for a review, but if they don't think they've had a great time because your bed sheets were like tissue paper or your pillows were like biscuits. They're going to leave you an honest review, and you can't argue with that. Again, you are just a person that they have just zoomed past in their space-time continuum, and they will be gone on with the rest of their life, and they will not give you or your property a second thought, probably ever again. So we have to be stoic. We have to detach ourselves emotionally from our reviews. We are not the sum of our reviews, and just keep moving forward. Keep trying to deliver customer service, keep trying to get good bookings in, and we just move on with our business. Next up, this is a thing that I think people who just have one Airbnb think, it's not really for me. This is for people who have like 10 or more, or trying to scale and grow a proper business with Airbnb, because I hear it all the time when I speak to people. And the North Star here, the guiding light, is that you need to run this business and optimize it for time, for your time. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you're running this Airbnb and you're doing all the jobs in it, it's not a business, it's a job. Now you might think, well, we only get a couple of bookings a week and I don't mind doing the cleaning. It only takes a few hours. And that's true, but if you're doing all the cleaning every time, all the maintenance, all the guest communication, all the bits and pieces, not only does that add up, but you are a slave to that business. You don't get to decide, well, I'll just go out for brunch with my friends, because no, you've got a changeover that day. You can't just go on your own holiday, because no, you've got a changeover that day. And of course, as the business grows and you get more properties, this becomes much more pronounced. And people in this space, hosts, if I'm talking to you, this is ringing true, let me know in the comments. Once you get a couple of properties, that demand, that necessity that this business will not run unless you're there doing the thing, that really does start to grate on you. I've been there, I spoke to so many hosts who get there, you do feel like a slave, like you're in this rat race and you're just, every day is the same and it's just relentless. And so the antidote to that is from the start to optimize this business so that it can run almost without you, certainly without you needing to be on site and doing all the jobs. And the first easiest thing that you can outsource is the cleaning. I get that no one will clean as well as you. I get that cleaners are expensive, but you are not going to be able to get a holiday, to get a break, if you are geographically tied to that property. By geographically tied, I mean you can't go anywhere else. You have to be there, do the stuff in the property. And it's the same with the maintenance. I used to go down, full bag in hand, every time a guest reported an issue. Very quickly I would realize I had no fucking idea how to fix the thing. The guest is standing behind me, looking over my shoulder, being like, why are you here? Why is it not a professional coming to fix this thing? And even when I could sort of fix it, it wasn't even a proper job well done. It was like a patch job. These hands are not working hands. I don't know what to do with stuff. Yeah, I can hammer things, but I can't fix things. Things get done much quicker when you just pick up the phone, get a professional, they will come, they will do it quicker, and they will do it better than you can, or at least than I could. Now, just on a side note here, I know what you're thinking, oh, cleaners, they're expensive, or maintenance, that's expensive. I'm sure I could figure that out myself. If you're thinking that, you're not getting it. You're not getting what I'm saying. Yes, things cost money, but by paying that money, by giving the money away, your time balance goes way up. And I'm saying optimize for that time, because time is the most important thing we have. Maybe you have young kids, and you don't want to miss their birthday because you got to go and do a changeover. When you're old and grey, you're not going to look back and be proud of all the cleans and all the leaking taps that you fixed. You're going to be proud of the time you made, that this business allowed you to spend time with your family or your friends or whatever the hell you do. And trust me, it is a much nicer feeling being away on holiday or doing whatever you need to do with your family or your friends and knowing that someone else is doing stuff for you. Your business is still running, you're still making money, and you're not there. That is a very transformational feeling. That's when you know you've got a proper business and not a job anymore. Just a side note on this, if you want to hear more about that, I love this stuff. It's transformational to hear that. There's a really good book called The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, and he just talks about all of that stuff. Anyway, back to the video. Next, I want to talk about Skynet and how we're in the 21st century and how AI can help us to do so much stuff with this business. Now, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway, you should not be doing your rates yourself. You should 100% be using an algorithm, which is AI, to manage your rates for you. It knows the market, it can adjust the rates multiple times to be the best price possible across every date, all the time. Use Price Labs, just use Price Labs. That's not the only AI I'm talking about. Now, we've all heard of ChatGPT, and like the opportunities to use this tech are only going to get easier and easier and more foolproof and more just incredible as time goes on. Like, it's only been out like a couple of years, like it's mad. But you can use ChatGPT for tons of stuff. So here's an example. It's a bit out there, but I think it could work. When guests book, you ask them a few questions like, who are you? What are you coming for? Who is coming? Do you have kids? What age are they? Like, what do you like? Are you a foodie? Do you like going for walks? Like, what sort of thing do you like? Get that information, you plug it into ChatGPT, and it can write a full itinerary for your guests that they can just go and enjoy based on their preferences. Like, if you send that to guests, like, that's mind blowing. Like, if they've never been to your place before, they'll be doing their own sort of research, and then you just hand hand them a 3-day itinerary of loads of options based on the preferences of the things that they want to do when they're there. It's awesome. As well as that, look, we should all be trying to retarget guests once they've stayed, because they might come back. They might be repeat bookings. So you need to be getting their email address or their phone number or something, some way to contact them directly outside of the Airbnb or Booking.com platform. One of the best ways you can do that is sending an email newsletter. And if that sounds like, that's a lot of work, ChatGPT can write it for you. We can write me a newsletter of the 5 best things that are coming up in the next 2 months in my area. It will write a newsletter to your guests. All you need to do is copy and paste it and send it. You can ask it to write copy, which is just an email. You just tell it, look, I want to get return bookings. What email can I send guests that are going to encourage them to come back? If you've got social media and you want to grow your reach there to get more direct bookings, well, it can write social media posts for you. It is absolutely incredible at doing the hard jobs that you sort of know, I think I should do this, but don't really know how to do it. Even if you don't know how to set up email marketing, ask ChatGPT, how do I set up an email marketing campaign? Ask it, what are the best ways to get direct bookings? It's mind-blowing the stuff it can do. You have to use it. If you're not using it, you're gonna get left behind. You can even use it to do all your guest messaging. So you can plug in AI reply on Guesty, or you can use bestie.ai. They're only going to get more and more of these things. You plug it into your PMS, you use Guesty, and it sits and lurks in the background for a little while, like just watching the way you reply to people, what tone you use, what your answers are. You feed it your guest books, you feed it all the information about your properties, and then you turn it on and it just starts replying like you, like it says things the way you say it. All of this stuff is insane, and it's saving you time, and it's a better experience for guests because they get replies immediately instead of after you've finished your dinner or after you pull the car over to reply. It's already gone back to them. I could talk about AI all day. If you've been using it, leave me a comment. Tell me what creative and ingenious ways you've been using AI in your short-term rental business. The next principle that I want to talk about here to make your business run easier is that the entire thing should be run on systems. So what is a system? A system is a repeatable process that happens every time something else happens. That's the worst explanation of a system ever. So for example, a system is what happens when a booking comes in. Now you probably already know this. You do it yourself subconsciously. You just think, I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this. But it's a proper system when you can explain it to someone else, when you can write it down, when you can write down the steps in order. If you can't do that, if you haven't crystallized that in your head yet, it's not a proper system. And the reason we need systems is that it removes uncertainty. It removes running the business on an ad hoc basis. You know, this happens, and then this happens. And it could be this happens immediately, this happens after a day, this happens after 24 hours. And the reason these are so powerful is because once you've got them, once you've written them down, you can give them to someone else to do. So you can get a VA on Upwork or Fiverr or People Per Hour, and you can say, this is how I run my business. This is the way I want it done. Now you go do it for $10 an hour. It also means the ball doesn't get dropped, the plates don't stop spinning. If you need to go on holiday and you need to get some help from a family member or a spouse or someone else that's going to step in just for a couple of days while you're away. And it also means that every single guest that comes and stays with you gets the exact same level of service and attention. You really do systemize everything. You systemize your booking process. So what do you ask guests before you confirm a booking? What messages do you send once a booking has been confirmed? There's a system around how you fold the bed sheets. There's a system around where you leave your plates and what way do you put your cups? Do you put them all with the handles like this? There's a system around checking in. There's a system around checking out. There's a system around managing your rates. Once everything's systemized, it removes guesswork. Everything can run like clockwork and you can get other people to help you, because we're optimizing for time, remember. And the next principle that I want to impart on you is that Airbnb doesn't care about you either. Guests don't care about you. Airbnb doesn't care about you. No one cares about you. I care. I'm here to help. But Airbnb don't care. Your property is just one little grain of sand and they own the whole fucking beach. So please, for the love of God, do not only list your property on Airbnb. Cast your net wide. Get your property on every different booking site going. There are millions of eyeballs all over the internet, all wanting to book properties. There are millions of people who just don't even use Airbnb and just prefer Booking.com. If you're not on there and they're searching for your area, and all your competitors are on there, but you're not there, you're never gonna get a booking from it. If bookings from Airbnb slow down, if you don't offer your property on any other site, you're in trouble. Like, you're in massive trouble. It's the only source of revenue for your business. It can be hard to manage these different sites if you're doing it manually, and that's why I always recommend using a channel manager or a PMS, and in particular Guesty, because you get a killer discount using the link below. They They do all the heavy lifting for you. A PMS, a property management system, is one thing. You log into Guesty and all of your information, all of your bookings come in there. You go on every different booking site. You don't need to log into every single different one. And the next principle you need to think about is that your property is just one of potentially dozens or hundreds that guests can view in search results. And you need to work damn hard. You need to be out there like an absolute killer trying to get ahead of every one of those competitors. It's dog eat dog out there. We're all fighting for the same bookings and I want you to get the best ones. And there are some ways to get an unfair advantage over those competitors. So the next video we need to watch is this one. There's 12 ways you're just going to get one little step ahead. In fact, there's 12 steps ahead. You're going to dominate. You're going to get the best bookings. I'll see you in the next one.